So the big picture for this lesson is linear equations. So here's a linear equation, 4x minus 3 equals 2x plus 1. And I went ahead and made a visual model. This can also be called bar modeling. And sometimes you use different colors for negative and positive. I just kept it one color today. So you can see how each box is represented by an x or a negative 1 or a positive 1. So you can use bar modeling to visualize the equation steps. Now the first thing you would probably do here is you would subtract 2x from both sides. So what that looks like here, just cross out 2x's on both sides. So that leaves you with 2x minus 1, 2, 3 equals plus 1. So then what do? Well, next thing you can do is you can get all of the 1's on the same side of the equation. So what you can do there is you can add plus 1 3 times, or plus 3 total, to each side of the equation. And what happens here is the plus 1 and the minus 1's, these make 0. And then you have 2x on the left, and then plus 1, 2, 3, 4 on the right. So there's your 2x plus 4. So then, can you tell what x is equal to? The next thing you would do is probably divide by 2. So we'll do that. So x equals 2. And you can also solve this one by grouping visually. If you take an x and then pair it with 2 1's, that kind of divides it up evenly also. And finally, you always want to take a little time to check your answer. So if I have a 2 here and a 2 here, 4 times 2 is 8, minus 3 is 5, and 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So you get 5 on both sides, x equals 2 is the correct solution. So now let's take a look at another type. This equation has some fractions in it. There are a couple of different ways to approach this type of equation. You can do a common denominator if you want to. My favorite method that I'm going to show here is to eliminate the fractions altogether. It ends up making the problem solving much more clean. So what you do is you multiply each term by the common denominator. The common denominator here is 6, so I'm going to multiply each term by 6 to get rid of the fractions. So here's what it looks like. 6 times 1/2 x plus 6 times 5 equals 6 times 2/3 x plus 6 times 8. Okay, now we'll simplify this out and see what we get. 6 times 1/2, well that's 3, so 3x plus 6 times 5, which is 30, equals 6 times 2/3. 6 times 2 is 12, then divided by 3 is 4, so it's going to be 4x plus 6 times 8, which is 48. Okay, now you have a nice clean equation, no fractions, very easy to solve. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. That's going to give me 3x minus 3x is 0, and then plus 30, so 30 on the left, equals 4x minus 3x, which is 1x, plus 48. To solve for x, subtract 48 from both sides. So 30 minus 48, that's negative 18, and then equals x, and then plus 48 minus 48 is 0. So here we go, x equals negative 18. So now I'm going to check. Negative 18 here, negative 18 here. 1/2 times negative 18 is negative 9, and then plus 5 is negative 4. And then 2 times negative 18 is negative 36, divided by 3 is negative 12, plus 8 is negative 4. Now I'm doing all this mentally. If you need to write it down to check, please do. But it's important you check every time. You really want to be sure of your work here in mathematics, and if you're not checking your answers, you're just guessing whether you have the answer correct or not. So you definitely take the time and check your work.